You have probably seen it 100 times. Standing at the stove, chicken breast in the pan, and then it starts. This white liquid spreading across the pan, the breast shrinking down to almost nothing right in front of you. And you just assumed that was normal. It is not normal. And it is not your cooking. That liquid is the visible sign of a muscle abnormality, found in 96% of commercially sold chicken breasts in America, according to a major poultry industry study. 96%. The bird itself has a problem, and the grocery store is never going to tell you that. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to 1948, when the United States Department of Agriculture ran something called the Chicken of Tomorrow contest. Post-war America needed cheaper protein, and the goal was simple: breed a bird that grows bigger, faster, and for less money. That contest launched the entire modern broiler industry, and from that moment, the bird never stopped changing. By 1960, chickens were reaching market weight in 10 weeks. By 1980, it was down to 8. And by 2005, it was 6 weeks. A bird that used to take 16 weeks to grow now takes 6. And that is not just a faster chicken. That is a completely different animal. In 2004, researchers at the University of Maryland and the United States Department of Agriculture published a study where they compared archived chicken samples from 1957 to the modern commercial bird. What they found was significant. Fat content had increased by over 200% in some cuts, and protein per gram had gone down. Now, we want to be clear here. We are not doctors, and nothing in this video is medical advice. We are not telling you that eating chicken is going to harm you, because the research does not make that claim, and neither will we. What the research does show, plainly and specifically, is that the nutritional makeup of this animal has changed substantially, as a direct result of how it is now being bred. You are not eating what your grandparents ate. You are eating a product that was engineered to the specification of a processing plant, not your dinner table. And here is how that happened. 4 companies control approximately 85% of the chicken on your grocery store shelf: Tyson, Pilgrim's Pride, Perdue, and Wayne Sanderson Farms. They own everything: the breeding stock, the hatcheries, the feed mills, the processing plants, and the distribution network. The farmer in the middle, the person you picture when you imagine a chicken farm, only owns the building. A building they took out a loan to construct, to the company's exact specification, and they get paid per bird at whatever rate the company sets. No negotiating power, no alternative buyer. The farmer carries the financial risk, and the company takes the margin. This is called contract farming. It is entirely legal. It has been documented by the Government Accountability Office and investigated by Reuters and the Washington Post. The 6-week bird was not designed by a farmer who cared about how it tastes on your table. It was designed by a corporate spreadsheet that cared about how many birds move through a processing plant per hour. Now back to that white liquid in your pan, because it has a specific name in the poultry industry. It is called wooden breast syndrome, and it happens when the breast muscle grows so fast that the blood supply simply cannot keep up. The muscle fibers begin to break down. Scar tissue forms inside the meat while the bird is still alive. And that same major study found evidence of it in 96% of commercially grown large breast fillets that were tested. The United States Department of Agriculture still grades these birds grade A. There is nothing on the label to tell you any of this. The texture you have blamed on your cooking technique, the liquid you assumed was normal. That is what wooden breast syndrome looks like in a pan on a Tuesday night. So, what do you actually do with this information? First, understand what the words on a label actually mean, because most of them mean very little. Free range, pasture raised, all natural. These terms carry minimal legal definition in the poultry industry and can mean almost anything the producer wants them to mean. The words that actually carry weight are slow-growing and a named breed. If you see both of those on a label, someone made a deliberate and documented decision about how that bird was raised. Second, if you are shopping at a grocery store, skip the front of the package entirely and look at the back. Smaller producers who raise slower-growing birds are beginning to appear in specialty markets and certain grocery chains, and they will tell you the breed and the timeline, if they have nothing to hide. Third, if you have access to a farmer's market with a poultry vendor, ask them 2 questions. How old is the bird at processing? And what breed is it? If they cannot answer both of those questions clearly, they are very likely reselling commercial birds. But if they tell you 12, 14, or 16 weeks, and they can name the breed, you have found the real thing. And fourth, consider buying whole birds instead of boneless breasts. Whole birds from smaller operations cost significantly less per pound. You get the bones for broth, and you are far more likely to be buying from a slower-growing farm than when you grab a pack of boneless skinless from the big processors. On the question of price, let us be straightforward about this. A slow-growing or heritage breed bird is going to cost you somewhere between $5.50 and $10 per pound. But consider that according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data from late 2025, you are already paying over $4 per pound for commercial boneless breast at a standard grocery store. The gap is smaller than most people assume. And what you are getting on the other side of that gap is a fundamentally different product. Here is the bottom line. The chicken on your grocery store shelf is the end result of a 70-year industrial breeding program built to serve the production speed of 4 corporations, not the nutritional needs of your family. The fat content went up, the protein went down, and the muscle abnormalities that produce that white liquid in your pan are present in 96% of what is sitting behind the glass at your meat counter right now. All of it is documented, all of it is legal, and none of it is on the label. That is not farming, that is manufacturing. And the real thing, the slow bird, the named breed, the animal that takes 16 weeks to grow because that is simply how long it is supposed to take, still exists. It is not gone. It is just not in the grocery store. Have you noticed the difference in chicken over the years, or have you already made the switch to something better? Drop it in the comments because I read every single one. The next video goes through the bread aisle, every major brand ingredient by ingredient, including one ingredient that is banned in the European Union and Australia, sitting right now in the most popular sandwich bread in America. It is worth watching before your next grocery run. And subscribe too, because every week we run the forensic audit the grocery store will never run for you. We will see you in the next one.